Some view anti-Semitism as a religious prejudice. But if this is the case, how can it be reconciled with the modern era, supposedly an age of enlightenment, nationalism, and secularization? Others see anti-Semitism as an anti-Jewish variety of a general social pathology directed against ethnic minorities. However, anti-Semitism cannot be explained only in terms of the relations between Jews and Gentiles. For example, in competition for jobs, prominence of Jews in different societies, different sectors of the society, because it does not always stem from specific social interaction between Jews and non-Jews. Nor is there a causal relationship between Jewish behavior and anti-Semitism, because anti-Semitic attitudes can be found in societies without Jews. Anti-Semitism, I believe, is an ideology and a prejudice which, unlike other forms of prejudice, has a religious mythic structure. The Jews represent in the minds of anti-Semites mysterious, mythical, and evil forces and are invested with attributes of omnipotence playing a sinister role in world history. In the Middle Ages, there was Christian anti-Jewish preaching to prevent contact with Jews, as well as popular belief in demonic traits of the Jews. Motifs of the crucifixion, the notion that Jews are not human and have recourse to special techniques which enable them to appear like other men, all merge with popular superstition on the power of human blood, sorcery, and perversity, giving rise to the accusation of the blood libel. These stereotypes of the Jews interacted with xenophobia, with economic and social frictions, generating frequent eruptions of anti-Jewish violence. Why did all these prejudices and myths fail to disappear in the modern era, with the spread of modern education and secularization? The emergence of the modern state and of secular ideologies did not do away with the entrenched stereotypes of the Jews, because the process of secularization that modernized European society also secularized the existing anti-Jewish sentiments. From the early 19th century, nationalists and conservatives, confronted with the changes of modernity, blamed the Jews for creating grave divisions within the modern state, for having a distinct tendency towards revolution, and for upsetting the established political and social order. Finally came the crucial contribution of racism. By the middle of the century, of the 19th century, there gradually emerged in Europe a racist theory which postulated the division of mankind into higher and lower races. In the racial worldview, the Jews were a mongrel race, incapable of creative activity. The conflict between the so-called Aryans, those belonging to the Germanic race, and the Jews was the physical manifestation of the apocalyptic struggle between good and evil. What was the social, economic, and political context in which modern anti-Semitism spread? In the 19th century, Jews were granted equal rights and began playing a significant role as entrepreneurs of the Industrial Revolution in continental Europe. The rapid socio-economic mobility and cultural advancement of the Jews during this period made them one of the most visible symbols of modernization, and they were perceived by those who resisted its impact as one of the principal agents of national disintegration. Traditional attitudes that persisted after Jewish emancipation, together with the new images of the Jews, merged with contemporary frustrations and angers resulting from the social changes brought on by capitalism. The appearance of anti-Jewish parties and organizations, whether they were based on economic, religious, or racist principles, or on a combination of all of them, constitutes the most important distinguishing mark of modern political antisemitism. Those parties came to the fore especially in Germany in the 1880s. In Tsarist Russia, antisemitism became official state policy, and the pogroms which occurred in 1881-1882 were encouraged and inspired by governmental circles. In 1882, a first international Congress of Anti-Semites convened in the German city of Dresden, and so, by the turn of the 20th century, the concept of an all-European war against the Jews was well established. The emergence of the nation-states in Eastern Europe, following the collapse of empires after World War I, brought an unprecedented wave of both public and state antisemitism. In the interwar period, state antisemitism became official policy, and old Judaism merged with the new views of Jews as carriers of communism in Poland, in the Baltic states, in Romania, and other traditional societies under the impact of modernization. These sentiments among peasants and the national bourgeoisie of the new states of Eastern Europe partly explain the indifference and not infrequently the approval with which the mass murder of the Jews during the Holocaust was received.